Catherine. Nice to see you. Familiar face to start. How great is that? Yay. Daphne, welcome. Hi, Jenna. Hi, Kian. Hello, Ariana. And Noremi and Jan. And Baby Yoda. Yeah, I'm going to just give us a few minutes to let folks roll in here. But we're in Dance 102. Yay! Oh, phew. For a second there, I thought my coffee was upstairs. Tragedy. Nice to see you too, Daphne. Hi, Noremi. Wow, first day back, guys. How are you feeling? Does it feel weird? Does it feel good? Tired. Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody feels a bit tired. Get a little more space in here. Are you energized and ready, Catherine? Good. Nice. Hooray! Yeah, goodness. Let's see. Hold on just a sec. I'm gonna go open up some pages and get them preloaded for you guys. So excuse my weird face while I do that, because I'm sure I'll be like making unexpected facial expressions, right? Oh, yeah, you can hear all my typing too. Here. Unmuted. Okay, so welcome to Dance 102. Hooray! You made it. So this is a lecture course. It is all asynchronous. But I do, at this time, meet with you, those of you who can come, um, each week to do a lecture. And I record it each week. So if you are watching this recorded now, or if you need to watch the lectures recorded, you totally can. But know that if you can make it to this hour to participate in the discussion, it makes my life so much better. And so I give extra credit for coming and participating in these conversations. So there's part of the points are just for showing up, and another part are for like actually responding to questions and having questions of your own to share, because that makes the class more aligned with what you, the students, need, and more than just listening to me yammer on all the time. It's nice to have an interaction and feel like we're real human beings, because I think we all need as much interaction as we can get these days. And the extra credit points that you get for attending and participating in these discussions, if you can, they go towards your midterm and your final, and they kind of alternate into those buckets. So if you want more detail on that, please feel free to ask. But in general, Dance 102 is going to be all online, all asynchronous, no textbook. Everything that we're going to need to read and watch is loaded up into the Canvas course. So I invented this course, I think, 2 years ago. Yeah, I think 2 years ago is when I wrote it. And so everything in that Canvas shell that isn't an article is written by me. That does not by any means mean that I am the end-all be-all knower of the wisdom here. And that idea I just want to start out with, which is that we are going to talk about Black dance in America is mostly what we're focusing on. And this course is a lecture course that satisfies your arts, and also for your GE courses, there's like an arts section, and there's an arts in practice and an arts and humanities bucket for GEs. And this is the arts and humanities. And what that means is that we're going to focus not just on art, in this case dance, but on how art interacts with society. Yeah, so instead of just looking at the dances as special little things that exist unto themselves, in this class we're really going to look about how we're going to look at the history of American culture, and a lot of that, when we're talking about Black dance, has to do with slavery and how it has impacted our culture and racism and sexism in this country and people of color in this country forever, for the last 400 years. So that means that we're going to talk about some uncomfortable things. And if you haven't already noticed, I am a white lady, and so I'm probably going to get some things wrong. I'm also a human, so there are going to be times when I'm talking really fast and, I'm trying to like make sure I get through all my lecture notes by the time we run out of time together, and I'm probably going to say something that comes across rudely or insensitively, or just, I'm going to make mistakes this semester because I'm a human being. And so I find it really important from day one to let you guys know that I am not perfect and I don't know everything. And so I really want to encourage you guys to feel free to talk to me about those things. If something feels weird or sounds weird, the only way I'm going to become a better professor and do my best job for you guys is if you let me know. And I know that can seem like a burden sometimes. And so I respect that, but I want you to know that I'll be really grateful also if you let me know when I could do better. Okay, so that said, I'm going to probably say it like 4 or 5 more times, especially when we get to some nitty-gritty conversations. Like, we're going to eventually talk about minstrelsy. That never goes easily, right? It can be triggering. So let's move on from the grumpy part of the introduction. And let me give you a little screen share drive through. I'm going to spotlight myself. And then I'm going to share a screen. I'm going to give us a little orientation drive through our Canvas course shell. And then after that, let's introduce ourselves. I'll tell you a little bit more about me, but let's get the nitty gritty out of the way. Okay. I need this window. Okay, so here we are. We're in Canvas. Hopefully all of you guys have had a chance to work in Canvas at this point, but I know that there will be some newbies to Canvas, and so I'll just start by saying it's important that you know that your teacher's view of Canvas is different than the student view, and also that the desktop view is slightly different than if you're on a mobile phone or a tablet. So if you are on a mobile phone or a tablet, it's really great to use the Canvas app. That works pretty great for everyone. If you are having trouble with seeing images on Canvas and you're on a Mac, sometimes you need to switch browser. If you're having trouble logging into the one login, if you're doing an upload of an assignment and it's not uploading correctly. Any questions like that, you don't want to come to me with those questions. You want to go to tech support. And the reason is that I'm going to try and get back to your messages within 2 business days, but tech support is there for you pretty much 24 hours a day. So if you are in Canvas, let's go all the way back. If you open Canvas the first time, I'm not going to do the how to use Canvas overall, but in general, you're going to come to the dashboard, you're going to see all the classes you're enrolled in, and this far left-hand border is going to be there for you. And this little question mark is where the help is. And so you can either support a ticket, you can do a chat, which I find is really helpful and pretty fast, or you can do a phone call during the weekdays from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then there's also a lot of look it up online options here too, but use tech support. Don't be shy about contacting tech support because they're usually the ones who can help you the fastest. And if it is something that you need my help with, they'll let you know and they'll let me know as well. So yeah, don't wait around not submitting something. Go ahead and ask tech support for help. Okay, so here we are. I think I caught most of the titles, but I just caught one this morning. Hip Hop Dance Roots, A Survey of Black Dance in America is the title now, but for the past 2 years, this class had a different title, which was Jazz Dance Streets to Stage. And the reason for that is that I started writing this course thinking that I was going to write about writing about it sort of with a feminist gaze and looking at how, because a lot of dancers are women, right? So that's where I thought this class was going to go. And then as I started to teach it, I realized that that's not the most important and most applicable set of issues that we are looking at when we're looking at the roots of hip hop dance, right? It's mostly Black dancers. And so the issues of Black and people of color in America came out much more strongly once I had taught the lecture class a couple times, so I changed the title for that reason. But if you see Jazz Dance Streets to Stage, just know that's the old title, and don't worry that you're suddenly in the wrong class. Okay, this is our course page. I'm going to turn on student view for a little while just because I think it'll be more helpful. You can see it looks a little bit different. Some of the most important things that I want you to know is that the home page is basically your modules page, but with the announcements on top. The announcements are pre-written, yeah? So sometimes the dates are a little bit off or there might be a little bit of confusing. Usually they're fine because I've gone through and scanned them, but just in case, it's always okay to ask me for clarification if something seems weird. And then here is what they call the stack of pancakes. That's the technical term for this little icon here. And that makes this left-hand menu disappear and appear. And I'm telling you this because also on the right-hand side, you can see these options here, including the to-do. And if you are used to seeing them over here on the right-hand side, know that if your window is a little bit smaller, more narrow, then they disappear. And sometimes toggling this stack of pancakes will make them reappear. And if not, if you have a really narrow browser window open, the stuff that goes on the side, it shoots all the way down to the bottom of the page. So if you're ever having trouble navigating, you can adjust your window size, and sometimes that'll do the trick. These are some common problems in the first week. So everything you need for this course, as I said, is here. This first week, please read through all of this fun stuff. I believe I have this. Okay, so our course description is here. Whenever you get lost in the course, you can either return to the home or modules page. They're pretty much the same. And so these first two modules, this is like a chunky do is a module, have all of the basic info. If you want to get in touch with me, please use the inbox through Canvas. It's nice because it'll keep all of our info in the same place. If I've ever like sent you a code or something, you can look it up. You can search it in inbox. And the inbox also goes to my email. So it's not more helpful for you to email me directly. Just go ahead and rely on that inbox. And then, so I'm just going to click some of these things so you can see them. If you feel like it would be really more helpful, I can usually answer your question over email, but you can set up with me a Zoom meeting if you want to chat. This little door card page will open up this screen. Oh, I'm so pleased with that photo I uploaded a year ago. Nice and goofy, but you can definitely see where I am. I am on campus for one class a week, but I am trying to keep my in-person contact as low as possible because I have a baby, yay, who is obviously unvaccinated. So if you ever feel like maybe I'm putting off meeting you in person, please don't take it personally. It's just because I'm trying to be really careful because of my baby. Of course, all of us who are on campus or enrolled in in-person classes are supposed to be vaccinated, and that's been checked. But I know that we're figuring all that stuff out, and so it's probably just good for everybody to know if you enrolled in an online class, that doesn't mean you're cleared to be on campus, and the faculty and the students, everybody is just bound to be really anxious this semester. So, let's all be gentle with each other because I think there's probably going to be a lot of fear and people might be snappy or weird, and, everybody wants to be together. So we'll just have to take it slow and figure that part out. That said, we shouldn't need to meet in person for this class. We don't normally. This class was always taught online even before COVID, so we should be pretty groovy. Okay. I'm trying to think what is quickness. I'm going to skip to this. It's good for everyone to know these general Skyline College links, career services, health and well-being, student life. All this stuff is here and for you. And since we've been sheltering in place for so long, most of these services are available online now. So services you can find under these general links are things like online tutors, library help, of course, counseling for your academic counseling, career counseling. If you are having a rough time in your personal life, which is pretty common right now because things are crazy, Skyline College also is still offering help with financial advising. There is still help for food pantry. There's still free personal counseling offered for students on campus. Safety stuff, like basically we're really trying to not just support you, the students, in terms of your academic life, but also your broader life. So if you're having trouble, please let us know. You can ask me and I can point you in a direction, or you can just help yourself from these pages. But know that we care about you guys and we know that things are crazy. So like it's our job to try and help you guys all the way through the semester. I'm going to go back. Let's cancel that. Okay, so I'm just going to click through this module really quick so you can kind of see what's in here. We already looked at the office hours, lecture course requirements. We do, after this orientation chunk, we're basically doing one module each week. And so within that module, you're going to see some readings and some videos to watch And at the end of each week, in the middle of each week, I'll do the lecture, which you can watch recorded or you can get extra credit by participating. And then there'll usually be one or maybe two activities at the end of each week that'll be either a quiz or a discussion. Sometimes there's an extra credit try it yourself activity. And the thing to know for me in this course is that everything has a due date and an available until date. So I've built in cushion because things are crazy in life. And so I'm going to talk about that in detail in just a moment. In general, I'd like you to check into the Canvas webpage twice weekly. So you want to try and plan to start getting your reading stuff done at the beginning of the week, or if you are, working really hard during the week and your study time is on the weekends. I think about each week starting on a Saturday for this course and everything basically being due on Friday. The only exception to that would be that if we're doing a discussion activity or a peer review activity, you want to try and get your initial post or initial submission in by the Wednesday so that you can finish working with your peers by the Friday. You'll need to check your email because a lot of automatic reminders or extra hints and tips come through the email. The Zoom meetings, as I said, are pre-recorded. There's no textbook, so let me keep on. You can check in on any of this stuff. It's all up here. The grade for the semester is broken down into 50% modules and weekly assignments, 25% on your midterm, and 25% on your final exam. The weekly assignments, as I said, are quizzes, discussions, and some try-it-yourself stuff. The midterm and the final exam have two parts each. One part will be multiple choice. Those multiple choice questions will be entirely based, not entirely, they're almost all the same questions that you will have seen, but shuffled around a bit from your quizzes. And your quizzes, you can take most of them at least 3 times. I think some of them are more, but you can tell on the quiz page because I want the quiz process to basically be a study practice for you. Yeah, it shouldn't feel like a stressful, prove to me you know that. That's not what it's about. I want you to use the quizzes as a study. So do your reading, take your notes, take in that information, give the quiz a shot. If you get a grade that's not so hot, it's time to study a little more and retake the quiz again. And I expect that all of you should retake your quizzes and get 100% on them all the time because that's the idea, right? Success. So that's how the quiz plan works. The other half of your midterm and your final exam, so there's multiple choice section. It's not quite 50-50, but there's a multiple choice part and there's a written short answer, short essay part for each of them. And so for each of those, I have a process the whole week before where I will tell you all of the essay questions and you'll do a peer engagement process to share your notes and to prep together on how you're going to answer those questions. So there's no big surprises in this class. Everything is up front. Just keep showing up, yeah? And I know that can be really hard, but really that is the big secret to doing well in my classes is don't ghost, if that makes sense, yeah? Okay. Okay, let's look at the timeline. Okay, so I'm going to come back here to our homepage. And then I'm going to go down to the assignments section. And I'm hoping you're noticing how I'm navigating while I'm going through this, right? So you'll notice the default is show by date. I don't find that very helpful because I've organized this whole page by date anyway. So you should look at it in terms of show by type, I think. But you can toggle between the two. The nice thing about show by type is that you can see the buckets where each of the points go, right? So for example, these are all the weekly activities. You can see that they're in the modules and weekly assignments bucket or category, yeah? The final exam category here, you can see that it's worth 25% of the grade, and you can see all these Zoom, these are the extra credit Zoom discussions I talked about. So all of those points, the odd weeks, are going into your final exam bucket. And then the final exam, as I said, is 2 parts. The midterm exam here, same thing. You can see that all of these activities affect your grade here. Now, most of your stuff is going to be in this module and weekly assignment section. So what I want you to notice on this page, sorry, I have a frog in my throat. Please pardon me. Okay, what I want you to know on this page is that there is an available until date and a due date. Yeah? Due date is when your assignment's due. It's supposed to get turned in by that time. That's going to keep you on track so you don't get falling behind or stressed out or anything like that. So please try to get things in by the due date. Available until date is generally, in the beginning here, I have a few assignments that I need you guys to do on time, and that's how I'm confirming that you're a real human being in the class and not just a bot, because last year we had a bot problem. So, but in general, you'll notice most of these things are due until May 20th, which is the last day of classes this semester. Yeah, you can see that, May 20th. So that means all of these quizzes here you can do for a long time. That's also the way that I let you go back and review the quizzes. So for example, this is, why is this only 2? I'm going to change that right now. Leave student view, edit. We don't need 2. Let's have 3. That seems good. Okay, so if you have 3 attempts in this quiz, then you can come and take it the first time and do okay. You can retake it and do awesome. And then when we're entering towards the final exam or the midterm, you could retake it again that way as like a study, practice. Okay? That's the idea. Okay, we looked at the assignments page. That's great. I'm going to come back to modules and bring it back to like a what do I do each week in just a moment. But I want to take a moment to go to the grades page. And the reason, actually, sorry, the reason for the grades page, I need to look at student view. Okay, grades page. I apologize, I like flashed everybody's names there for a second. So here we are. Okay, this is what it will look like when you come to the grades page. And I want to show you this now because it's important that you see my feedback. Yes, if you have a written assignment, or a discussion, I try to like say hi to most of those as often as possible, as well as using a rubric. So let's go. Obviously nothing is turned in here, so it's going to be a little bit confusing, but let's go to this quiz, for example. You can click through. If I've left you a comment, it'll be here on the left. And if there's a rubric, which most things have a rubric, then you'll also be able to see that. Oh, it's such a bummer I don't have anything pre-graded here. You can see underneath here which bucket each activity goes to. You can see that there's a score. So let's say this discussion. Let's say you turned it in and there was a little dash here. A dash here means that I have not graded it yet. Okay? It doesn't mean that you got a 0. I will never give you a 0 points. I will always give you at least something so you know my eyeballs have been on it. Then over here on this side, and I'll review this again later when we have an example, you can see that there'll be a little checkbox, a little clipboard, and a little other icon in this section. So you can, by coming to grades and looking here, if I've left you notes or rubric score, you'll be able to click on that and see all my feedback. And I do really want you to see feedback. And then the other thing to know, which I just learned, and I can't click through this right now in student view, is that in inbox, messages that we have between each other are in the message section, and then there's also a sent section but there's also a notification section. So let me stop sharing for just a second because I'll pull it up and show you that. Box, save student view. Okay, sorry. I was trying to pull up the view that I'm looking for, but I can't do that without flashing you other students' names like I did earlier. So I'm going to not show you this, but I want you to know that in your inbox, you know, there's that drop down menu for in versus sent versus deleted versus drafts. There's another section in there that's called submission comments. And so if I've sent you a message like, hey, your file didn't upload correctly, it goes into that part of inbox instead of straight into your regular place. So it's good to check that. I learned that last year and I was like, oh, that's helpful to know. Okay, so let's go back to the home page and I can screen share again. Here we go. Okay. Okay. All right, so timeline. Your quizzes, you can take them open book. Please do not take your final exam and your midterm open book because you will be allowed a, let's say this is a sheet of paper, about the size of a one sheet of paper, double-sided note sheet, yeah? So while your quizzes are open book, the midterm and final are not open book, but you are allowed one sheet of notes, which is pretty great, right? This grades, feedback, and writing tips for success. Just go ahead and give that a read. All of that is, you can pretty much get through on your own and ask me questions. Okay, so this week is week 1. Yeah, and all of the weeks are numbered. This is more registration info, so please make sure you take the student participation agreement quiz. It's just basically like, don't cheat, know what plagiarism is, paraphrasing is plagiarism. Also a little bit about the Skyline College Dance Program, a little video of me teaching, which is now getting a bit old, but it just will give you a sense of the other stuff that I do. And then a little orientation and FAQ quiz. And again, you can retake that. So please make sure you do this registration week stuff within the next 2 weeks because that is how I confirm that you're a real person in the class. Okay, so this week is week 1 and we're going to do this module. You'll notice week 2 has a number and a letter, and that's because this course is set up in categories, and those are the letters. So the categories are community, A, B, exoticism, C, economy, D, diversity, E, eroticism, and F, sexuality and gender. And the reason I did that is because my Dance 100 course, which some of you are enrolled in both, is set up just chronologically. So it starts with sort of now and old community dances and traces how, mostly in the Western world, dance evolved into concert dance. And that's Dance 100. And this course, since I really wanted to focus on how dance art has interacted with culture and socio-political issues in our country and in the world at large, it's set up by those issues, yeah? So when we first start, we're gonna start with some fun stuff, and we're gonna talk about community and how dance is a way for the embodiment of a community, how it's been used for activism in our culture and other cultures, and how whether it is social dance, improvisational dance, or choreographed dance, dance can be a way for a community to gain strength, to recognize itself, and also to push back against oppression. The second one, exoticism, is going to start talking about what does it mean to think of things as exotic. Yeah, a lot of the time if we see something like breakdancing or circus tricks, we think, oh my gosh, that's so crazy and exotic and wild, or it comes from this faraway place, or it comes from a body that doesn't look like my own. That's what the term exoticism means. And how does that affect the way that we treat other communities? That's what that section's about. Economy. So in the economy section, we're going to really talk about how dance has been used to affect a person's class status. Yeah. In particular, what does it mean for Josephine Baker to have gone from standing on the side of the street dancing to be the world's first superstar? And how did different dancers in America bump into class and race restrictions depending upon the era they were in, the part of America they were in, and how did those racial restrictions and the ability to become famous affect the dancing that they chose to do? Because it's not just that like one goes one way, but it goes the other way as well. And that's the section where we'll really talk about minstrelsy and blackface and like why did people do it and how did it change the way that dancing happened, not only during that era, but how jazz dance and hip hop look was affected by those racist and bigoted practices that we had in this country. So that's the economy section. And then diversity. So in the diversity section, we are going to talk about the Great Migration, which is when African American people at large moved up and got the heck out of the South. And we're also going to talk about the 1950s and how big budget shows really finally tried to start representing a more diverse America on stage. And that on stage, I mean, especially Broadway stage and movies, like in Hollywood. Because before that time, before the 1920s to 1950s, a lot of dance performances were really still segregated, right? Obviously, they were absolutely segregated for a long time, but even the touring paths that different groups took were different in America. And so, for example, when Michael Jackson first started with the Jackson 5, they went on tour in America on what was known as the Chitlin Circuit, which had evolved from the different theaters that only black performers could only perform in during the time of segregation. So if you were a white vaudeville star, you would be traveling to these certain different theaters, and if you were a black vaudeville star, you'd be traveling to a different set of theaters, and it was a different tour group. And so the dances that the performers learned from each other were different in the two places until people started to mix them on purpose. So Michael Jackson, as an example, he came up with Jackson 5 traveling the Chitlin Circuit at the same time as James Brown. And so he was copying dance moves from James Brown, and James Brown, while he was touring from city to city, he was purposefully learning the regional dance moves that were on that tour and blending those all into his show. And the show business way that they created their performances was passed on in that way. So we'll look at things like that. How does, in that way, class segregation, how does that affect the way that dances evolved in America? And then what happened on the Broadway circuit when they started to look at like, well, we don't want to do just Russian ballet on this stage anymore. What does American dance look like? And we have all these Puerto Rican neighborhoods in New York City who are doing Latin dances, and we should put that on stage. West Side Story. And et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of what the diversity section is going to look like. Also, we'll talk a little bit about modern dance during that time, and Catherine Dunham and Alvin Ailey, who do a cross between jazz and modern dance. It's going to be in there. And then we'll move on after the midterm to eroticism. So this is like the original idea that I had for this class is really covered in just this one category. I had to smash it in there. But we'll talk about like, what does it mean that jazz dance is sexy? And we'll look at heels dance. So I try, by organizing by categories, to not have us just looking at one era of dance in each of these segments, right? So it's not chronological. So when we're talking about feminism, we're going to talk about can-can. We're going to talk about the Follies in the 1920s. We're going to talk about the Rockettes today. We're going to talk about Fosse musicals in the 1960s. And we're going to talk about how women's roles and sex work inform and were informed by the dancing styles that are in those segments. Yeah? So the same is true of this last section. the sexuality and gender section. So we're going to talk about how jazz dance and hip hop have been influenced by gay culture, by drag performances. Things like whacking come straight from the ballroom scene in America. And so we're going to talk about those interactions, how the gay community has affected hip hop and jazz dance. Which means we're also going to talk about like what are the issues for each of those social groups and communities in our country, right? So at the end here, we're going to talk about trans rights and Stonewall and how did those social political events affect the dance moves. So I think that's pretty much like the grand gist, as it were, of this class. So I'm going to leave some time for questions and just saying hello and a little bit of introductions here. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm just going to do that. Let me take my spotlight off. Can we just introduce ourselves super quickly and maybe say like if you've danced before or if you had an interest in this class for any particular reason, and if you don't have an answer to any of those things, then please tell us about your cute pets. So I'll go first. Amber Steele. I have been teaching at Skyline College since 2008 now. Wow. My master's degree is in choreography, and I went to Mills College to study that. And before that, I went to UC Berkeley, where I studied modern dance and comparative literature in English and French. So that I give you that background because it kind of informs some of the way that I look at art and talk about art. This class was my baby. I'm super excited about it. I'm so happy with the way that it changed. The first time I taught it was in the summer of 2020, Black Lives Matter protests, and I'm so grateful that my eyes were open and that I know that I need to keep doing the work. And this is the way that I'm trying to change what collegiate dance is like, is to try to share the bigger story. Do we have a volunteer? And you guys can feel free to unmute yourselves and pop on in. Or if you like, I can call y'all. Out. I'm going to put on speaker view. Naremi, Baby Yoga, would you like to go first?
Hi, yes, I can go first. So my name is Naremi. I actually enrolled in dance class. I wanted to do like a physical dance class, but because I work so much, I don't have the opportunity. I actually did dance class during middle school and I really loved it. And I unfortunately haven't had the opportunity to go back to dancing, but it's like all over my culture. So I just love like dancing.
What style of dancing have you been doing?
Well, I really like cumbia. I really want to learn how to dance salsa. Because the rhythm is just like really like flowy and catchy. And you can definitely feel the energy. But sometimes I feel like I have 2 left feet, so I don't know. I don't know.
It's just a skill. We could teach you.
So maybe, hopefully, like in the future, I'll be able to take a physical dance class. I'm excited to be here.
Yay! Welcome. It's so great to have you. Anybody want to volunteer to go next? Jenna, go for it.
Hi, I'm Jenna, and this is my second year in college.
Yay.
And I've been dancing since I was young. And I used to be in dance competitions, like in Cartoon Network with my older brother. And like the kind of dances were like hip hop and like pop. It was cool. And I'm happy to be here.
What's the group that you and your brother dance with?
No, it was mostly like for like Cartoon Network bags or like gift cards, and then you'd compete against other kids, and then it would be like at the beach. It was cool.
That's awesome. Are you local?
Yeah, I grew up in Daly City, Bay Area.
Oh, that's cool. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to
Are you
meet
taking
you.
any live dance classes this semester?
No, but this is my first dance class, and I'm excited.
Awesome. It sounds like maybe I should like give the little "this is what we're offering" to talk at the end. So I'll save that for a moment.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Professor.
thank you, Jenna. Welcome. Who would like to go next? Daphne, Keon, Ned. Oh, Ned, you made it! Hooray!
I can go next.
Okay, welcome, Ned.
So
Glad you got my email.
So the issue was with the email, you gave me the link to your personal meeting room. And I was like, hey, this is not starting. And you said a few minutes. And I was like, oh, let me go to the course. And it was just a different meeting link.
I'm sorry I sent you the wrong link. I'm glad you figured it out. That was my bad.
No
Welcome.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm actually a computer engineering major. I always love for my general ed to take something that like that gives you a bigger picture. And I feel like this class really combines like the cultural aspects of things and also dance, which something I'm not really good with at all. I lack any rhythm while walking, let alone dancing. So hopefully maybe that would help in that aspect. And I also love widening my worldview.
Well, that sounds excellent, and that is certainly my goal, is to like connect dance to the wider worldview. We do have some small try it yourself activities, so maybe we'll get a little skill in there. I firmly believe that dance is a skill that you can work on, and everybody can dance. We can make you better at dancing than wherever you are just through practice, so have hope. But that said, this is mostly a lecture class, so don't be scared.
No problem. Just a question on that. Looking at the web schedule, it doesn't have meeting times, but is there a set meeting time that we would?
Yeah, I'm going to do this lecture from 10 to 11 each day, but it's always recorded, so you can always watch it in the Zoom cloud recordings.
No problem.
Yeah, so you don't have to be synchronous. It's extra credit if you are.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
Daphne, Keon, Ari, anybody else want to go?
I could go.
Hi.
Okay, so hi, I'm Daphne. I don't have any dance experience. I'm a kinesiology major, but as you know, I was part of your cardio dance class the last semester, and I really enjoyed that.
I gotta say, that gives you some dance experience.
Yeah, okay, I guess that counts.
It counts. It counts. We did a lot of different steps in there, actually. So I think, yeah, give yourself some credit.
Okay, yes, I really enjoyed that, and I hope to attend a live, another live dance course maybe next semester, hopefully.
It could happen. Fingers are crossed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you for coming back, Daphne. I'm glad to have you.
Nice to see you again.
You too. Keon? Ari?
I can go next.
Okay.
My name is Keon. It's my second year in Skyline, and I don't have any dance related things, but my uncle is a professional dancer for the Golden State Warriors, and I love the work he does. And I just feel like it's really interesting, and it's like a form of art you express through your body.
I really hope you will share a video of your uncle dancing with us.
If I can find any, I will happily share it.
Please do. Yeah, if you can find one, then like stick it in that getting to know you discussion.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm excited. That's wonderful. Catherine? Ari?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Catherine. I took dance class with Amber Steele, cardio and modern dance, and jazz dance.
It's been so long. I'm so excited to see you again.
Yeah.
Nice. Yay. Ari, are you here? Want to go? It's okay if not. 11:51. Okay, so I'm going to pull up. Where is it? I'm going to pull up the flyer real quick and share screen. Okay, so this is our dance flyer for this semester. So I guess I should edit this. One of these classes has been canceled, which is, let me just put a little box in here. This one is canceled. Okay. Okay. So I am teaching contemporary modern dance in person, and it's on Monday and Wednesday from 12 to 1:30 in the dance studio, which has a brand new floor. Hooray, brand new floor. So I'm really excited to do that. I would love to have more people in that class, but as you all know, there's a district vetting process to make sure that you're fully vaccinated or exempt before you can come to an in-person class. So if you want to add the class, I can totally give you an ad code. And if you're already taking online classes, it should be no problem for you to be enrolled in time to come tomorrow. But otherwise, anyway, just feel free to reach out to me if that's the case. Kevin Simmers is going to teach ballet on campus. That's Tuesday, Thursdays. And then in the evening, Ken Delmar is teaching Cuban salsa, which he's been teaching for a long time. But also we have this new class called Afro-Cuban dance. And so Ken Delmar has been spending the last 2 years doing intense study of Afro-Cuban dance, like personal lessons. And I mean, he's been working really hard. So he's really excited to teach that new class. So am I. I'm so proud we're having it. Tuesday, Thursday afternoons, the spring musical will be Pippin, which is a Fosse musical with a circus. I just found a hole in my sweater. With a circus theme. So if you're a fan of Chicago or Cabaret, it's the same writer-director, but this one has a circus theme, and it will be taught by Jude Navari, who's teaching the music section, and the dance section and direction is going to be done by Gary Ferguson, who is amazing. He had a fabulous career on Broadway and was in the touring Broadway show of Chicago, and he's done Cats, and I mean, he's just awesome. So if you are at all curious about or interested in doing a musical, I highly recommend that you take that opportunity to do it with Gary Ferguson. And they've done auditions, I think, already for the big parts, but there's usually still plenty of gaps to fill in. So if you want more information about that, please let me know. Then online dance classes, of course, there's this one, Hip Hop Roots. I'm also teaching Dance Appreciation, which is the arts part of the Arts and Humanities GE requirement. And I'm also teaching cardio dance. And then these aren't dance classes, but I'm also teaching core fitness and yoga online asynchronously. There's a synchronous yoga class that's going on that needs more folks though. So if you can do that one, I definitely recommend David Cho's class. And I think that is what is on the table. Do you guys have any questions about anything at all? I have another class at noon, so I will be scooching out of here quickly each time that we meet. So please understand that I'm not trying to be rude, but I do have to like hard go at noon. So yeah, anything else that I can do for you guys, help you with, ask with, please reach out. Don't ever be afraid to ask me questions. Yeah, it's always worth asking.
Is it better to reach you via email or via Canvas and message?
The Canvas inbox is definitely the best way to go because I will, the Canvas inbox emails my email.
Oh, I
Also, you guys should know that. But it does get buried in the regular email with all of the like campus stuff. So it's more direct to use Canvas inbox.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, Professor?
Mhm.
I have a question. I have a quick question about the weekly Zoom discussion. Is it going to be a Zoom meeting or is it an online discussion, like discussion forum or?
Yeah, it's a Zoom meeting. So the weekly Zoom discussion is just like we just had here.
Oh, every Tuesday? Like,
Yes.
or- oh,
at
okay.
this time. And it's always recorded. So if you can't make it live, it's okay to just watch it as though you were coming to a lecture. If you
okay.
can make it live, then I give you points for being here and I give you points if you're asking questions, yeah, participating in the discussion. And those extra credit points go towards either your midterm or your final exam.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anything else? These are all great questions.
Professor, how often do we have quizzes?
Let's take a look. Okay, so general information up here. The confirm your place in class module is 0. And then from here on out, so this is week 1. From here on out, each module will be your week's assignments. So this module, let's talk about next week because this week has some extra stuff. Next week we'll do 2A. Yeah, so for week 2, you've got all of these. You just read and watch the videos. And there's definitely going to be some, when you get to the watch list, there's a lot of vocabulary in the beginning here. It's okay if it doesn't all sink in right away, right? So here's like what I used to call a watch list page. So you've got my writing about what's in here, some images, and then lots of videos to give you visual examples. So it's okay in here. You don't have to watch every second of every video because I know there's way too much. So you want to get a general gist. I'm going to kind of tell you what you're looking for, and then you're going to watch part of it and be like, oh, okay, I see what she's talking about. And if you are totally into something, like hang out and enjoy it. But it's not my expectation that you watch all of these dances all the way through each week, okay? As long as you understand generally what is going on there, you're on the right
Thank you,
track.
Professor.
And then at the end of each module, come on, Paige, you can see what's due this week. Okay, so here's 2A. Sorry, I'm scrolling a lot. Here's all of the reading for this week. This one is like an actual article, so if you are into popping that out or having it read to you, there's an app that will read these PDFs to you, which is cool to know. And then you can see that this one doesn't have, week 2, it doesn't have an extra quiz. It just has, this is the discussion that we just talked about as extra credit, and there's the stuff that I talk about in the discussion. Yeah. Week 3, you can see that there's a quiz. It's pretty much always at the bottom of the module. Yeah. This will be week 5. Here's everything week 5.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sure, you bet. Anything else? It is 12, so I must poof. All good? Okay. Thank you for coming. It was nice to meet you. Next week, I'm going to probably throw in a couple of extra Zooms to just meet more of the students who haven't been here yet. So if it says like extra orientation or extra introductions meeting, you guys who've already been here, you don't need to worry about coming to that. Yeah. I just want to try. I know there's some people who have classes right now and I want to meet more of you. So thank you. And I'll hopefully see you next week.
Thank you,
Bye,
Professor.
Professor.
Have a great week.
You too. Stay safe.